What is going on, Bills Mafia? Happy Victory Friday. It's been a long time. And of course, we are back. And if you don't remember, we are your Friday night guys underneath the Friday night lights. He's Justice, aka the GM. I am Jake, aka the Northeastern Nostradamus. And this show is built different. Now, Justice, it's been a long time, man. So I got one question for you. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It has been a long time, bro. I've been like jonesing to pod with you, man. It's been a long season.
Oh,
Oof,
yeah.
a lot of stuff has happened since the last time we potted. Um, we missed the playoffs, and then we were one of the best teams in the league.
Yep.
And then Josh Allen was the MVP.
Uh-huh.
Then he won. Then we became
Yeah.
a running team.
Yep.
It was a lot of things happened. But we'll talk about all that. How are you doing today? How are you doing, Jake?
Dude, I am doing absolutely amazing again. It has been a while, so if everybody's sitting here like who the hell are these guys? We do this show and we have been doing this show for a long time under different names. And we I have to come out and say it. I've got something to admit. Last time we did a show together, and I don't know if that show ever came out, that episode.
Oh, the
Uh,
Robbie.
yeah, with Robbie one. If that one didn't air, then I probably shouldn't be outing myself like this. But I was down and out on this team, man. If you don't remember, I was like, I'm back in my drought era mentality where I don't know what I'm going to see every single week, and I'm not going to let this team affect my mental state. Well, we're back. We're back, baby. We struggled throughout the middle of the season. And of course, everybody who's tuning in, I can see we've got about 53 to 55 people watching at the current moment. If you guys want to just go ahead and like and share this so that we can get this out to as much as Bills Mafia as possible, because they're going to want to hear what we have to say about this game coming up. But before we talk about the game coming up, there was a game that was played this weekend. The Bills did take on the New England Patriots, Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but how that game turned out didn't really surprise me. So before I really get into that, just at base level, what did you think about the performance against the Patriots?
You know what I thought about the performance against the Patriots? I was thinking that our defense turned the ball over so many times. Our defense played absolutely phenomenally. I was flipping. I had one I had one TV on the Buffalo Bills and I had one TV on the red zone. And so I'm watching my man Hansis just call the Dolphins getting absolutely dogged, smacked around, curb stomped, just obliterated and abused and spit on and left waste as they are. And as I'm watching that, I'm saying, AFC East title. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Look,
Right? Okay.
listen. Would I have liked the Bills to blow out the Patriots? Of course. I'm a Bills fan. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Do I care that they didn't play well, dog? Listen, man, it's only 32 of these teams, bro. These players train their entire lives to get to a point where they can play football professionally.
Yeah.
Ain't none of these dudes half-assing it. All right. Like, and not only that, but you are the Patriots. You're the Patriots now are essentially what we were 15 years ago, right? Just
Yeah.
this team has just been dominating our division for the last half decade. And we are suck at this point, to be, completely transparent. Like we're just terrible. We might lose our coach. All this terrible stuff. Like that's who the Patriots are right now.
Yeah.
They're fighting for a job next season to even be able to have an NFL career, some of those guys. So of course they're gonna play their hearts out, and they're playing against their division rival who've been smacking them around for the last couple of years. So you're gonna play hard. And even still, it wasn't enough. And the Bills, were able to get the W, which is more important to me. The thing that I mean, like I said, our defense played great. Our defense has been playing great. And the only reason our offense wasn't playing great is because the most talented quarterback in the world had an off day. I'm not going to hold too much weight to that because I don't think he'll ever do that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't foresee another game coming soon where Josh just misses every pass. Like, that was an anomaly. Like, he had a bad day. All right, cool. He had 15 other great ones so far, 14 other great ones so far. But you know what I mean? Like 42 touchdowns. Listen, man. Josh is going to be okay, right? And even still, even if he can't throw, he shows you he can get it done with his legs. And this team has become a running team at this point. So I didn't care about how ugly it looked, how whatever, because there was a chance that we might not make the play. There is a chance we might not make the playoff.
Still is, yeah.
We got a W. Miami took a fat L, a hot L.
Oh my God! Did you watch Hard Knocks? Did you watch Hard Knocks? Oh, dude, like that video. I'm sorry. Maybe I just love sitting there enjoying Dolphins tears. Maybe that. Yeah, I think we all kind of enjoy that. If you enjoy that, you need to watch this episode because it's all fun and games in the first 35 minutes. They're so hyped up. This is a big game. We're about to go in there. And then the last 15 minutes is just an absolute smacking of the mouth. And it is just seeing the Dolphins team go from here to this really, really fast. And just seeing that.
So in Hard Knocks, are they showing the week up to the game and then game
and
or
the game,
after the game or what?
They show a little bit after the game, but it builds all the way up to the game, and then
imagine having them cameras in your face after you just allow a team to drop 56 on your dome. Oh
dude,
my God.
Dude.
And this was for the 1 seed, and you just went up there, bent over, oh my God, that was terrible.
Yeah, and just to talk about the Bills versus Patriots performance really quick. Look, I have 3 notes here for this game. And they're all pretty simple. Knew it would be a tough game. I mean, we just knew it would be. We saw what this team looked like against Easton Stick last week. Just to talk about that really quick is that game, that was the first time we had ever seen that team with that new head coach. You had no film. You had no idea what you were getting into with that team. This game, you knew what was going to happen. You knew that their defense has been a top 5 defense the last 4 weeks. So them coming into that, they've always had a knack for being able to give Josh Allen fits. That didn't really surprise me at all. But it was all of these really, Josh can sometimes have the interception. You know that's coming. But it's games where he has multiple ones, and those are the ones that start to worry you. But they shouldn't, because every quarterback has these games. Yeah. Everyone does. I mean, just look at Patrick Mahomes' whole season right now. He's having multiple of those games. And it's kind of just to the point where this game, the Patriots offense is anemic. The Bills defense really showed me that they're really coming into their own at the right time. Again, this whole team has been coming into their own at the exact right time in December. And Buffalo just always plays down to their competition, man. I just don't understand it. Of course, like you said, I want to see them blow every team out. I want to see that. But there are 32 teams in the league, and these dudes aren't going to just sit there and lay down. Especially some of these Patriots players that maybe the writing is on the wall for Bill Belichick and they wanted to, ball out a little bit, maybe so that they can end up on the Chargers next season. Who knows? So we shouldn't have been surprised that this game was as close as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But Buffalo, they're the same team. They play down to their competition, but when they play good teams, they step up. So
and that's the thing right there, right? Like, that is very weird, honestly. But I feel like it's because our offense has like no sense of urgency until there's a sense of urgency. Our offense is just like, oh, here we go. It's just lollygag, and it's like, oh, let's try this. It's, and even I've seen some of that Dorsey-esque Joe Brady play calling over these last two games where it's just like, what?
Yeah.
And so it kind of gives me a little less hope for Joe Brady because I was extremely excited for him. But we'll see what it looks like going forward. But those two games weren't very good, from a play calling standpoint. Actually, I can't say last week wasn't very good from a play calling standpoint because Josh was missing everything.
Yeah, he was just missing stuff. Yeah,
the Chargers game wasn't the greatest. So we'll see what it looks like this week and in the playoffs going forward. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, all right, we know the Bills either are going to blow a team out or it's going to be a one-score game. Right. Those are the only two options most of the time all the time when the Bills have played over the last couple of years, right? They either blow a team out or it's a one-score game. Those are the only two things that have happened. So they used to really suck at one-score games.
Oh yeah,
I believe they were like, they didn't win a single one-score game that they played last year. I don't believe
that was the narrative last year that we couldn't win one-score games.
So now they're in this era of who the hell are we? And I am glad that they've at least learned how to win close games and be comfortable with playing down the stretch and making the right decisions or making clutch plays and having that in their back pocket as you get into the playoffs, because this week is against Easton Stick, or this week is against Bailey Zappi, but next week is going to be against Patrick Mahomes, or is going to be against Lamar Jackson, or one of them other bum ass quarterbacks. Actually, Joe Flacco balling, so I'll give him that.
Bro, the Flacco songs, dude, he's back.
He's Joe Flacco's elite. So you know what I mean? I think that, that's what I think. I'm glad that they learning how to win close games, because you can beat Lamar Jackson in a close game. You can beat Patrick Mahomes. You can beat Patrick Mahomes in a close game. And those are what those are going to be. So if you can pound the rock, which they are learning how to do, and then you can depend on the best arm in the world secondarily, that's dangerous.
Exactly. And you touched exactly upon what I wanted to say. This Buffalo Bills team looks so different from years past, and even at the beginning of this year, is it finally looks like it doesn't have to be all Josh Allen.
No.
And that is something that for years we were a big play offense. Josh Allen had to make every single big play so that we could get it, because we couldn't run the ball. We couldn't grind out these gritty, ugly games. We couldn't do it. We had to be flashy. We had to get up quick. And we just had to hope our defense wasn't going to let us down. Now our defense has won some of these games for us. And this run game has won some of these games for us, because we're like, hey, Josh, we love when you make the big plays, but if you can just grind out and give James Cook all the carries and he's just eating a team alive, you don't need your quarterback to make those kind of plays. Like Josh Allen said that It was he felt like he was the kid on the school project that, didn't do any of the work on that game where James Cook just absolutely ate alive the Dallas Cowboys. Like, it's just kind of like, yep, that's where we are right now with this team, and it looks completely different than what we've seen in years past. And I think it is what is going to make this team even more dangerous in the playoffs because they can hang with the big boys. They can put up a bunch of scores, but if there's like an ugly weather game, like say, you get the home games in Buffalo, then the weather's not always nice this time of year. We all know this. And then Cleveland, places like Cleveland, Kansas City, Indianapolis, Baltimore don't really have good weather this time of year. So, the only places that are going to have good weather for teams that are in the playoffs are Miami and Jacksonville. Those are the only ones that will have nice weather
Jacksonville
on
might
the
not be hosting the game.
Huh?
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. I guess Houston would be nice too. We're
It
going to
depends
also
on whoever wins that division, obviously, will be hosting the game.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later when we do the playoff predictor machine, because while most people probably know what the three scenarios are that the Bills need to happen and what can go down to get the Bills in the playoffs, there still is a chance that the Bills do not make the playoffs this year, which would be absolutely insane.
Catastrophic.
But
devastating.
Yeah, it would just we'll talk about that when we get to it.
I also want to talk about the narrative that Josh Allen has cost the Bills like 4 games this year, which is absolutely crazy, but it seems to be consistent in the media, which is like, what are you watching? Like, they seem to
go off, man. Let's go.
Oh, Josh had 2 interceptions here. He lost his game for them when it was really like, no, our offensive play calling was terrible.
Yeah.
And Josh had to do everything in his power to make sure we didn't, you know what I mean? To make sure we were competitive in the game. So we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah. Let's get into the Bills Dolphins. This is a big game, dude. Like, I've never really I don't know if the Bills have ever been in this big of a regular season game, at least in the last couple of years. I know there have been years where we still, had to beat Miami to control our own destiny and stuff like this. But this is the first time ever that the Dolphins have been that team at number 1, and we're the ones trying to overtake them at the end of the season. Usually it's the other way around where the Dolphins still have a chance. So this game is huge. This game, I don't know if there's ever been another scenario in the NFL where if a team wins their division, they're the second seed in the entire conference. But if they lose, they could be out. That is insane. I do not know if that's ever happened before. I'm sure with every single year, I'm sure there's probably one time that happened maybe 40 years ago or something like that. But
I don't know, because
it's crazy.
Remember when we was kids and you would like look at the playoff standings, like by like week 16, week 15, 16, it was a lot of XYZs in the standings.
Yeah, stuff was locked up. It was
never really like, 2 seed without the Y or the, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, man.
But I don't know. Maybe it's never happened.
That's the first time.
Yeah, it could be the first time ever. But newsflash, it ain't gonna happen. So I want to talk about this matchup because, of course, it's the biggest game of the season, and the Bills have everything on the line. But I want to know, Justus, just your overall mentality going into the game this weekend. How you feeling?
Well, when I look at the Dolphins, I get scared and petrified, and I just feel the chill in my bones.
It's okay. You can let it out. You're brave and fearless for admitting this on the stream.
You know what? I'm tired of lying and keeping up this brave face, Jake. Like I have to be honest with myself and the world. I look at the
We
Dolphins,
appreciate it.
like this team is scary as hell when you really think about it, right? They've beaten the Bills twice in the last 14 games. That scares the hell out of me. I am petrified.
I can't believe it.
This wide receiver who's supposed to do 2,000 yards, best wide receiver in the league, Jake, he averages 70 yards against us.
Oh my God. He's a game changer, dude.
He never scored a touchdown against us, Jake. That scares the hell out of me, dude. It does, man.
I know. What if he does it this game? What if he gets one?
Josh doesn't do well versus the Dolphins. He's averaging 400 yards a game. Man, I hate when we get that, Josh. I hate when we get the 400-yard Josh.
I know. I can't.
I hate when we get the 3 touchdowns, Josh. Oh, man, no.
Offensive player of the week 5 times against the Dolphins, Josh. Oh, I can't believe it.
This super scary team had a chance to put the division away. Barely beat the Cowboys. Got absolutely embarrassed by Baltimore when they had a chance for the 1 seed. This team is real scary. All right, and I can't hold my bravery anymore, Jake. I have to let it be known.
Well, I think you're very brave for coming out and admitting all of that. You know what scares me? How long this Dolphins injury report is.
Oh my God, right. Literally.
It is. This is a CVS receipt. I think I've seen that said quite a few times. This is a Kohl's receipt, ladies and gentlemen.
Target.
Like, this is a Target receipt. Like, this is a $300 Target shopping trip receipt.
When you
all right?
went for laundry detergent.
Exactly. And just looking right off the bat, Bradley Chubb, rest up Bradley Chubb. That was absolutely.
That was Von Miller for us last year.
Yeah, like I don't want to see that happen to any player ever. And in Hard Knocks, that was something where, like, even my girlfriend, when she was watching it with me, surprisingly, and she watched it and she was like, "Why was he even out there? They were losing." And I'm like, I don't know why he was out there.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, I know. She understands. And Xavier Howard is also going to be out. We'll talk about how that's going to impact the game. Jerome Baker, one of their outside linebackers, he's questionable. Raheem Mostert, questionable. Jalen Waddle, also questionable. Jalen Waddle and Mostert did not practice on Wednesday and Thursday and were limited today. I saw Jalen Waddle. Apparently, he was limited because he got a couple of snaps in practice, but that's about it. He's got a high ankle sprain. This is the second week of the high ankle sprain. He's probably not playing. You're probably not going to have to worry about Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill. Prayers up to Tyreek Hill. His house, one of the rooms caught fire. One of the photos that you can see shows Tyreek Hill in a walking boot.
Peely is getting dangerous, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And Peely. And I think that not just those guys, Mostert and Waddle, both, game changers for them. Mostert a little bit more. He's kind of stepped up this year. Him and Achane. Or Achane, is that how you say it? Is that Achane? Achane. Okay, I said it right the first time. Teron Armstead, Lester Cotton, Liam Eichenberg, and Robert Hunt and Austin Jackson. Their whole starting offensive line was on the injury report this week. And there's few names that we've got on here that are just like Jalen Ramsey was on there, but he was a full participant all week. Dude, like these guys that have lingering injuries. This team is beat up. The Ravens beat this team up last week. Now, they've been, over the last few weeks, getting all these injuries. But the Ravens really beat them up. And I'm not sure. Look, when I look at this injury report, I go, if the Bills do lose to this team, if all of these guys maybe don't start playing, it should be embarrassing if you don't make the playoffs, if you don't beat them. Because with Bradley Chubb gone and Jalen Phillips gone, this pass rush, while you've got dudes like Christian Wilkins and Sealer in the inside, and you got guys like Ogba and Melvin Ingram on the outside, which Melvin Ingram is the Josh Allen killer for some reason. I don't know why, but he just knows how to get back there to Josh Allen. This pass rush, they're really, if I'm remembering my stats correctly, they only blitz around like 20%. They have a 20% blitz rate or something like that. And that's because Fangio really predicates his defense on getting home with 4. And
more without Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb.
Without Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder, especially against the team in the Buffalo Bills, whose offensive line has ranked in the top 5 the last few weeks.
And not only that, but you add the most physically escapable quarterback in the league to the line that's playing well both in the pass and the run game.
Yeah, exactly. And you got a guy like Spencer Brown. We haven't talked in a while, Justice. Spencer Brown is having himself a hell of a season.
He is.
You don't hear his name called very often, and that's a good thing. That's the best thing that you can have happen to you as an offensive lineman. So I love that. He didn't give up anything last week. I'm pretty sure he had like 100% win rate on all of his blocks. That is insane. He did not give up anything, which I love. I love that. I love seeing a guy that, we trashed on for a while, finally stepping up and being the player that we need them to be, especially during this stretch. And, it's really improved. It shows the way that this offensive line is bullying other teams at times with their blocking for the run game and for Josh Allen. The way that they're just winning in the trenches is crazy. So let's talk about these trenches, Justice. You see these injuries. We're not even talking about the offense just yet. These injuries on the Dolphins defense, right? What they're dealing with on the back end with Xavier Howard being out. So they're going to have Jalen Ramsey, who they pretty much lock to the outside, like on one side of the field. They don't really move him around very much. When you see that, you're going to have like Eli Apple on some of these guys, a dude who has had good games, but also has had quite a few bad games. What do you think about this Dolphins defense matching up against this Bills offense this weekend?
First of all, Jalen Ramsey is not prime Deion Sanders. I'm so sick and tired of people like, oh, you better stay away from Jalen Ramsey. Oh, you better stay away from number 5. Bro, every time Josh plays Jalen Ramsey, he cooks him. Every time. Every time he plays him, he cooks him at least once. So,
on the Jaguars, cooked. On the Rams, cooked. On the Dolphins, he's going to cook them.
Stop. I don't stop, bro. Stop, okay? I don't care about Jalen Ramsey. They was always remember last year. They was like, oh man, we got Xavier Howard and we got Byron Jones. Y'all not gonna do nothing. Josh goes off for like 4-4.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
Xavier Henry got cooked all the time. Like Davis. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and that's not a shot at Gabe Davis, but he's not Stephon Diggs.
Exactly.
So stop talking to me about Jalen Ramsey. Like, not you. I'm just saying,
in general.
I don't you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a good cornerback. Do your thing, all right? Even if he do, let's say, hold Stephon Diggs to 3 catches to 37 yards, but we win the game, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Like and not only that, but like I know that Stephon Diggs could get past Jalen Ramsey. I know that you know what I'm saying? Like if it was like 1-on-1 Stephon Diggs versus Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Diggs will route Jalen Ramsey up. And if the ball could magically be placed in his hands when he's open, then he could get the ball. But this offense just seems to have a hard time getting the ball to him for whatever reason, scheming him.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's the one bad thing about the Bills, play calling and passing scheme is they're terrible in man. They can't get any separation. But I think that Stephon Diggs would be able to get separation on Jalen Ramsey. So I'm like I said, you're missing. Let me put it this way, right? That secondary is only so good because the defensive line is really, really good. I'm not saying the secondary is not good. I'm saying it's only so good as it's been because the defensive line is really, really good. You're now missing like 70% of your defensive line value with the two best players, right? So it's a brand new ball game. You couldn't stop us before when you were fully healthy. Like, what are we expecting now?
Right, exactly. And just to get this, Happy New Year, Coach Boom. Happy birthday to Justus. And I'm doing good.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
I'm doing good. And before we keep going into this, of course, everybody, drop a like on this, however you're watching, whether it be on X or on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe too.
If you didn't give me a birthday gift, like this video and I'll count gift.
He'll count it as a gift. It's the best gift that you can give at this time to Justus, who is a beautiful 29 years young, Justus?
Yes.
There we go. All right. So going into what you said about this team, when fully healthy, we've seen this Bills team smack up this Dolphins team. Multiple times.
Consistently, actually.
Yeah, I actually pretty consistently.
And even when we lost it and we outgained them by more than 100 yards. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the Sun game, they're not going to have that home field advantage on Sunday night. They're also not going to even have any home field advantage if you look at the statistics for who has all the tickets to the game this weekend. So 52% Bills fans is what they're predicting.
Jeez, man, have some dignity.
I know. And that's just all Dolphins fans selling some of their season ticket seats, like, oh, we're going to sell it. And it's all Bills fans buying it because Bills fans travel well.
Have a chance to win the division for the first time in how long?
I know. Wouldn't you want to be at a home game to celebrate that if you win it? For the first time since 2008?
Dolphins fans are like the same as the Dolphins, right? Like when it's an opportunity to show up, you get blown out by like 30 points by the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills. Like, it's just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and I honestly wanted to be one of those people going down there. But then I talked about it, and now my bosses that I have now are all Dolphins fans, and they know I'm a Bills fan. So my boss, I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to the game. And he was like, yeah, I'm going too. So if you do go and you win, do you like your job? And I'm like, yes, sir, I do like my job. And he was like, then I would stay home and watch that because if you win, I'm like, okay, all right.
I'm gonna need somebody to take it out on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't wait for this game. Honestly, I've talked to all of my coworkers who are Dolphins fans, and I asked them before they even went into the Cowboys game. I was like, how are you feeling? Because they still have that, 3-game lead or 2-game lead, I think, at that point, because they lost to the Titans. And I was like, look, that was an anomaly. You guys will probably beat the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, even though we had just whooped up on them, I was like, I think the Dolphins could probably beat them. They didn't do it by much, but they did. And then I was like, then you guys are going to lose to the Ravens. And they were like, yeah, probably. And then I was like, yeah. And that,
yeah, probably is great.
Yeah. And then that last game of the season is going to be for the division. They're like, well, you guys got to beat the Chargers and the Patriots. I'm like, you don't believe that. Don't even say that. Come on. You don't think we can beat those two teams? That was right after the Chargers just had 60 plus hung on them. So I just know the Dolphins fans, they are scared. In reality, they're nervous. They were afraid that this would happen. This team didn't lock it up, and they left the door cracked just a little bit for the Bills to sneak up. And now it's here. So now what are you going to do? You're going to close the door? Or am I going to be like the mom who comes into your room and then whaps open the room and goes, hey, are you awake? And you're sitting there playing on your Game Boy or something. You know, that's how we're going to catch the Dolphins, and they're about to get this whooping. That's what they're going to get, because they left that door open and we heard them. So I'm just saying, Miami, you guys got a injury report that is longer than a CVS receipt. It's longer than a Kohl's receipt, a Target $400 shopping spree receipt. And the Buffalo Bills, who have beat you how many times out of the last 12 games? Justus, not the last 13, the last 12?
The last 12, 11 times.
They have lost to you once.
Yeah.
One time. And you guys hang your hats on that little meme of Josh Allen on to his shoulder. And what happened? Yeah. What happened later in the season? Oh, you lost. Then you had to meet us in the playoffs. And then you lost again. Yeah, you lost again, you know. And but yeah, you got the meme, you've got a photo, but how many photos do we have? Let's see. I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive player of the week graphics,
memes and photos.
Yeah. So
also, there is a Tua meme, but we're not allowed to use it. That's how.
Okay. Bad. Yeah. So I'm just saying, the Dolphins right now, they're more worried than we are going into this game, because while I don't know what Buffalo Bills team is going to show up, I know that this team is going to give this Dolphins team either a bunch of fits on defense, or they're about to just absolutely destroy them on offense. I think it's one or both could happen. And I think that Miami really screwed the pooch this year, dude. It was their shot.
Tennessee.
And they did the same thing they did last year.
Yep.
They had that lead and they started playing against teams that, guess what, weren't bums. And they showed, oh, well, actually, we're not as good as we thought they were. At least their excuse last year is they didn't have Tua down the final stretch. Now they do. And they did the same thing.
Yep.
So I don't know. What else do I got? Oh, let's talk about the Bills offense against this defense, right? Or no. Let's talk about the Dolphins offense against our defense.
Yeah, because we talked about the Bills.
Yeah. So we've got right now a situation where every single one of the linemen for the Miami Dolphins, offensive linemen, are on the injury report. Now, they pretty much practice all week, but they have nagging injuries. 2 of those guys are replacing full-time starters. And those are guys like Lester Cotton and Connor Williams. Or Lester Cotton replaced whoever their guard was, and then Connor Williams, their center. So they're beat up there, and we just got back one of the most vital pieces to the Buffalo Bills.
DJ.
He's back. He's back.
Oh, y'all in trouble.
Oh, he's back. And
I thought Eddie was you thought Eddie was going crazy before?
Oh man.
Y'all thought Leonard Floyd was going crazy before?
You know what's gonna happen when Ed Oliver lines up against Lester Cotton? Oh man. It ain't gonna be pretty. I'm telling you that right now. One little swim move and Tua's gonna have to be, running for his life. Because we saw what the Ravens were able to do. And look, they still put up, even with that defense, the Dolphins did have what their offense is, and it's just a team that lives off of big plays. That's what they do. And we know all about that. That was our 2020 season. That was our 2021 season. We just had these explosive big plays. We weren't, chunking our way down the field, really. We weren't dinking and dunking and running. Josh Allen was just slinging that rock all over the yard. And now it looks like the Dolphins have that same thing, but they don't have a quarterback who can adjust on the fly and still make those kind of big plays. He's a spot thrower that makes big plays, gets it right where it needs to be, which, look, if you want to call that a game manager, that's fine, but I call that somebody just doing their job on the field. But Tua has limitations. That's not a question. And right now, they can have those big chunk plays, but sadly, against the defenses and the offenses, if you don't consistently have those plays every single drive, which defenses like the Ravens and the Bills aren't going to give you that kind of chance. Hell, even the Cowboys defense didn't do it. It's one of those times where you got to sit here and look at it and go, all right, they got to score almost every single time. Now, I'm not judging and saying that the Dolphins defense isn't going to be able to stop the Bills offense at all. I'm sure they will. You're not going to be perfect every single drive unless you're the Bills against the New England Patriots a few years ago. But it's very rare that happens. And this defense for the Bills is going to get after this offense. That offensive line is going to have to try to win every single play, and that just doesn't happen. And there's guys on there that are already banged up. Who knows what happens when they've got these dudes in the Bills who are fairly healthy coming at them full speed. This team in the Bills has something to play for. We've seen what this team does when their back is against the wall, Justice.
Yep.
We know what they're like. Every single game for them, they've been in playoff mode since the end of that Eagles game. Or hell, even the Eagles game. They've been in playoff mode. Every single game. If they dropped it, they were done. Their season was more than likely done if they go 4 games back behind the Dolphins. And they have fought every single week, whether it's ugly or it's been pretty, like against the Cowboys. They go out there and they win games. And when their back is against the wall, like a scared dog, those are the most dangerous animals.
Perfect way to put it. That's perfect way to put it, Jake. They're a scared dog. They're like a dog with his back to the corner, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you play an Eagles team, they are scratching and clawing and biting and fighting for their life, coming out playing tough. And if not for like a million fluke things all happening in the perfect time and place for the Eagles, they win that game, right? The Cowboys, we're just tougher than you. We want it more than you.
Yeah.
Right? Back against the wall. You're a team that could end our season. We're about to demolish you. Right now, you look at the Chargers, you look at the Patriots.
Yeah.
We still recognize that this is our season, but
we're
not really worried about y'all necessarily ending our season. And maybe they might have overlooked them slightly a little bit. But now I think that you look at the Dolphins and you say, you smell blood in the water, right? If they're Dolphins, they're sharks. You're like, y'all had this season all but locked up, and you go and lose to the Titans.
Yeah.
As soon as they lost to the Titans, we was like, oh, it's over. Oh, it's over.
Yeah.
It's our division now.
The collapse has started.
And what basically happened was, they had the door shut, locked, bolted, banged up, wooded up, boarded up, hurricane-proof doors on the AFC East title.
Yep.
They got out of bed, went downstairs, and did the work to take all that
Take it all off.
and leave it creaked open. And the Bills were like, oh, bet. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I think the Bills are going to come out. They recognize this. They're going to come out and they're going to be full of energy. On the opening kickoff, I bet you somebody make a crazy big hit and they just jumping around. So, I'm telling you, man, they're going to have so much energy and they're going to push this Dolphins team around. And the Dolphins really not going to know what hit them. You know what it's actually going to be? It's going to be like an eye-opening experience for like Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins as a team, because last year their playoff experience was a little skewed because they had a backup quarterback. They were playing with house money, no expectations, no nothing. It was just like, this is we're going to try our best or whatever. Now you have expectations. I don't care what seed you go on with. You're supposed to be one of the better teams. But when you play a team like this, as I mentioned a lot, like when they played the Ravens, they realized, oh my God, this is what an actual good team, playoff team. This is what actual playoff football is like. And I don't think they're ready for it. And they they're going to get caught with their pants down again. And, I just think that the Bills are going to absolutely demolish them.
Now that we've talked about this, I'm gonna put some of these keys to winning the game because they're the most obvious things in the world. Control the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. The Bills have been able to do that multiple times this season against the Dolphins too. At the beginning of the season, they've been able to do it. The defensive line is fully healthy. The Dolphins is not. The offensive line is fully healthy. The Miami defensive line is not. So you control the lines of scrimmage and keep Tyreek under control like usual. Do what you always do. Because for some reason, they just don't understand, or I just don't know why the Dolphins don't know how to game plan for teams that play like a cover 2 or a cover 6 type of defense, and they bracket and they take Tyreek Hill out of these games, except for the occasional times where he does catch somebody in his zone and Tua makes that play. But outside of that, teams
if you tighten up those zones,
and you get a little bit of pressure back there to Tua, throw him off time. Yeah, I mean, he's more than likely throwing the ball away. So just to answer your question here, Coach Boom, yes, they did have a 3-game lead on us going into the Titans game, where they then historically lost. Teams were 0-676 when down 14 with 3 minutes left, and that is no longer a undefeated streak. So, wow.
I was so mad.
Did you go to bed?
Gave that game away, bro. I was sitting there like, oh my God, bro, you bums. They had a chance, right? Then they went down, scored a touchdown. I was like, oh, okay. Then they stopped them. I was like, oh, okay. Then they had the big play up the side. I was like, yo, is this really about to happen?
Dude, I wish I got to see it in person, because when that second Will Levis fumble happened and the Dolphins got it, I turned the game off. I was like, this game's over. I'm going to bed.
That was when I quit. That was when I gave up on it.
Yeah. And then I wake up the next morning and I see the ESPN notification, Titans rally back to win against Dolphins. And I go, wait a minute. And I had to watch.
Not the same game I was watching.
Yeah. There's no way. Like, was that a Madden cast or something? What happened? Like, that's something that would only happen in Madden. Like, it is absolutely insane that a professional football team let that happen. But yes, Coach, they did have a 3-game lead going into that game, and they have since blown it. and technically have what they say it's a 1-game lead, but it's really like a half-game lead, right? Because if we win, we have that edge over them, even because we'd have the same record. So, yeah, I think that those are the real keys to win. Keep Tyreek under control. Their injuries are really going to help a lot during this game. And controlling those lines of scrimmage, that's all you got to do. The Bills have done that multiple times this season. Now, Justice, I'm going to change some of the branding here really quick. We're going to talk about some of these playoff scenarios. So this is exactly what it looks like at this current moment, right? Going into the playoffs without any games played. The first games played are tomorrow. So, as you can see right now, the Buffalo Bills are the 6th seed. Now, there's 2 games here that really matter to us. And I will talk about whether or not we want to know, or if we'd rather, I don't think that either of these. We've got the backups of the Ravens versus the Steelers, and we've got the Ryan Tannehill-led Titans against the Jaguars. And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is playing. I think he is, though. He probably will play.
I think it's hilarious how it's this foregone conclusion that the Steelers are going to beat the Ravens backups.
I don't think they will. Did you see the Ravens backups drove on the Dolphins in that last touchdown?
Backups are nice.
Yeah,
Tyler Huntley's the best backup quarterback.
Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley's a top 20 quarterback in this league for real.
Yeah.
So
he's Lamar Jackson light.
You said what?
He's Lamar Jackson light.
Literally. Literally. So I don't know why they're so optimistic. I think Tyler Huntley's about to go out there and destroy them.
I think that it's more than possible that happens, especially since they're still rolling Mason Rudolph out there, even though Kenny Pickett is apparently healthy. They just want to ride the hot hand in Mason Rudolph. Kenny Pickett doesn't like that very much. I wouldn't either, honestly. Mason Rudolph's a backup, but if he's working, then whatever. Let's go to this game. We've got the Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. This is an amazing game, right? So basically, whoever wins this game has a chance to win the AFC South. Because if the Titans can somehow beat the Jaguars, both of these teams, as you can see, Indianapolis is 9-7, and if Houston wins, they're 10-7. So right now they are 9-7. So I feel
bad for whatever AFC South team is about to have Cleveland come to their city.
I know. That is absolutely
Cleveland is about to bum rush whatever team wins that division.
Now I don't want to, really say anything because I don't know how everything's going to go, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're either seeing a Buffalo-Cleveland AFC Championship game.
I just thought about it. If we are the 2 seed,
yeah,
I would much rather see Kansas City than Baltimore having to see Cleveland. I would much rather have Kansas City come to town than have Cleveland come to town.
Right. So I would love for Kansas City to come to town because they've never had to play in Buffalo. At least Patrick Mahomes hasn't. So, right? I'm pretty sure that's true.
This is assuming they don't get stomped in the first round.
Yeah, right. Which could be a possibility because
but clip for sure.
Yeah. So for this game, I do think that the Houston Texans probably do win this.
I think that the Colts had a chance.
Yeah.
They should have taken advantage of CJ Stroud being out.
Yeah.
As he was. That was their opportunity. But now that he's back.
Now that he's back, I think right now that team, which is absolutely crazy. CJ Stroud, who has been playing almost like an MVP level of ball.
Monster, bro.
In a rebuilding time for the Houston Texans.
I got to admit, I'm like a low-key a little bit of a fan of his, But I know that I can't be a fan too long because I'm going to hate him in the next year and a half.
Yeah, right. Because he's going to be another one of those quarterbacks where we're like, oh, God. Okay. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that happens. Really, the NFC games are inconsequential. I think Tampa Bay handles the Panthers. Yeah. I think the Browns that one's great because I'm pretty sure the Browns have the 5th seed locked.
Yeah, they do. They're not playing anymore.
They're resting everybody pretty much. So that game is inconsequential.
Excuse me.
The Lions, they'll win against the Vikings. This trash bowl. Who do you? Yeah, I think New England wins this game against the Jets, ruining their draft position
and going out with Belichick with a bang
against the Jets. That would make the most sense. Saints, Falcons. This is a big game. Derek Carr's been balling out recently. So I'm going to go ride the hot hand. Derek Carr is going to beat the Falcons. That's another game that I'm going to wait because that's a scenario game. The Seahawks versus the Cardinals. What are we thinking? Are we thinking?
Oh,
I'm thinking it's Seattle. Well, but the Cardinals just beat the Eagles.
I said, but the Eagles sucking right now.
I know.
I'd say Seattle only because they actually have something to play for.
Right.
But actually, you know what? I scratched that. I think Arizona, because Seattle kind of doesn't seem like a playoff team this year. Like they had a decent season, and they might be a good team next year, be a playoff team next year, but they just don't seem like a playoff team this year. I could see them missing it. But what has to happen for Arizona is they're going to have a high pick. And I think Kyler wants to stay. Like he wants to be the quarterback. So I think he's
I mean, they gave him that contract too. So so we'll actually go with the Cardinals winning that one. I think Green Bay beats the Bears. Yeah.
But Kansas. Justin Fields has been balling too, to be fair.
But Jordan Love has just looked like
I just wanted to show Justin Love some.
Justin Fields has played well. Like he's also playing like, hey, don't draft my replacement. Like,
agreed.
So he's got the Kyler Murray thing going on, but I still think that the Green Bay Packers continue to own the Chicago Bears. Kansas City, they should win, but it's not guaranteed.
It's inconsequential. They're locked into the 3.
Yeah, they're locked. So I want to see you too. So Broncos Raiders.
I want the Raiders to win just because I don't like Sean Payton.
Well, they've benched
Russ,
so I'm gonna go with the Raiders that game. I'm just curious. If the Raiders, no, it doesn't matter. Kansas City's locked in. Eagles, Giants. I'm gonna go with the Eagles just because the Giants haven't really impressed me all that much this year. The Eagles, they're that same team. If you notice, every single year there's a team that is just riding this huge wave. Oh my God, they're so good. They're undefeated, whatever. And then
the Steelers that 1 year.
Yep, the Steelers the 1 year.
The Dolphins last year.
Yep. It's just one of those. They're that team this year.
Yeah.
They're that team this year. Now, do I think they could still turn it on the playoffs? Yeah, I think so. I think they have the ability.
They could go on a run.
San Fran, I think, is resting all their people because they're locked in, right?
And they've I ain't gonna lie to you, even if they wasn't, I think the Rams win that.
Okay, there we go. Cowboys, Washington. Cowboys are playing for the 2nd seed, so.
Oh, they playing at Washington?
Yeah, at Washington.
Oh.
I know. Could be a hard one, honestly. Like Washington's out there with something to play for. It's gonna be Ron Rivera's or is he fired already? I don't think so.
Yeah, he's gonna be fired.
Yeah, he's gonna be fired. So so they just know Sam Howell's gonna be trying to, play to keep his job. They're gonna get everybody up out of there. So that game could go either way. If it's Washington, Philadelphia gets the 2nd seed. If it's Dallas gets the 2nd seed because they have the tiebreaker. Okay, now that we've done the whole league, we're to exactly where we have to, go about all of our scenarios that affect the Bills. So, Baltimore, I think that they can beat the Steelers, right? Which means this game is inconsequential. But let's say the Jaguars beat the Titans. And then Dolphins beat the Bills. The Bills are still in the playoffs. That's what happens. If the Steelers win and we lose to the Dolphins, we're completely out. If the Titans win and the Steelers win, we're still the 7th seed if we lose to Miami. But none of it matters because if we beat Miami, we're locked in at the 2nd seed. Which this is most likely going to be the playoffs this year, right? So if you look at these matchups, Justice, Pittsburgh, I wouldn't be too scared of coming into Buffalo. With Mason Rudolph, we've beaten that Pittsburgh Steelers team with Mason Rudolph plenty of time. Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, it doesn't matter. Like we've beat that Pittsburgh team before. Miami, this is where I'm curious because Miami's got a lot of guys that are hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They have quite a few guys that are hurt. And would they be better off? I know they would have to, this involves conceding the AFC East, but if they sit guys this week, knowing they're in the playoffs already, like, do you think that they should do that? Like, I don't think they will.
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna be real with you, Jake. This might be controversial. If this happens this way, I fully expect Miami to go into Arrowhead and win.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. If you can be now, let's say they have to play. See what happens if the Dolphins win and the Steelers and the Titans win. Miami has to play us.
Don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that at all. They're hoping that this is what happens. And I'm cool with this, too, as a Bills fan.
Because I fully expect we go into Arrowhead.
Yeah.
We expect that we go into Allenhead and win again.
Yeah. So, but if the Bills win, the Dolphins, I fully see them finally winning a playoff game for the first time in 23 years if they play at Kansas City.
And it'd be hilarious to see what people say when Tua beats Pat Mahomes.
I know. I want to be on X that day. That's going to be great.
Because I'm gonna be mad because of Tua praise, but I'm also be happy because what's the name getting the taste of his own medicine. He's been not good this year. Not only that, he's been an absolute crybaby all year, and people are just absolving him of all of his wrongdoings, even though he's not been a great quarterback. I give it to you. His wide receivers have been dropping some passes. But when the Buffalo Bills led the league in drops a couple of years ago, that was not a valid excuse. So I'm not going to use it as valid.
I was about to say, Justice, we've been doing this so long together. This validates your points that you have said in the Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes debate for years now. And that Josh Allen, when he had trash receivers, elevated those trash receivers. And that wasn't an excuse for Josh Allen. Now this year, you said Patrick Mahomes doesn't. He's got Tyreek Hill and he has Travis Kelce. He still has Travis Kelce, but his other receivers aren't doing him any favors, and he's not elevating them. Now, is that fully on him? No, because he's hitting them in the numbers. Sometimes they're just not catching everything. But you see that they're not world beaters when they don't have generational level talents all over the field.
Exactly.
And it's not like Patrick Mahomes is also just putting like layups for these guys too, you know? Like he throws rockets just like Josh Allen can. So,
and he's been throwing some terrible passes.
Yeah. So he's been having a rough season this year, and I don't know. Kansas City, even though they were struggling, they still did beat Miami and Germany. So do I think that Miami could still lose if they had to go into Arrowhead? Yeah.
Of course,
But
could lose.
yeah,
I just think that Miami has the better football team.
I'll tell you what, though. I honestly don't like this matchup for us. Jacksonville. I don't like that one whatsoever.
I don't think that's the same Jacksonville team we played the first time. And
I'm not even
even the
just going
Jacksonville
back.
team, even the Jacksonville team we played the first time, we had to beat ourselves in order for them to win.
Yeah. I just go back to every single time that we've ever played Jacksonville, at least the last 3 times. The first time was we saw them in the off season or in the postseason. They knocked us out when we broke the drought. That was an ugly game. I think that game ended up like 9-3 or something like that, or 6-9, something like that. And then we meet them with Urban Meyer, and we have our worst game against them that we've ever had that season. I was at that game. That was great. Thank you again,
I think
Urban
we've lost
Meyer.
every game to them.
Yeah.
Quarterback, except for when Jalen Ramsey played on the team.
Yeah. I think we've beat them once, which is insane. They just, for some reason, know how to get in our head. Do I think, but we don't have to worry about it. Maybe I'm a little bit more scared of this.
I'm more scared of that one.
Because
of all these teams outside of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And you've got Devin Singletary coming home. You got Jerry Hughes coming home.
Will Anderson Jr.
Yep. Guys that, will want to, they're going to want to make a statement. They're going to want to beat the Bills. That's not, I don't like this scenario at all. But let's just say we got this is a little bit more palatable. I think, I don't know, the way this team has played this season, dude, I don't know if they're blowing this team out, like
who, Jacksonville?
Yeah, like
I think we would in Buffalo, because A is not in London. B,
right,
it's in Buffalo. You got to come to Buffalo. You got to deal with the noise. This is a team that's not going to let you come back from 38 points down or whatever the hell that number was.
Right.
27, I think it was 20, 21, 27, something like that.
Mm.
When the Bills punch you in the face, well, we're now going to be smart enough to run out the clock. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it's a different ball game if Jacksonville were to come to Buffalo this time. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm not super scared of Houston either. I just would like to play Houston least of any of these teams outside of Cleveland and Baltimore. Like, in terms of who I would like to play from most to least, I would like to play the Colts from most.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to play Jacksonville after that.
And
no,
then Houston.
Like, Colts the most.
Yep.
Dolphins after that. Jacksonville after that. Houston after that. No. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, got you. Colts, Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans. Colts, Dolphins, Chiefs, Jaguars, Texans, Browns.
Yeah, we're not going to have to worry about the Browns, thankfully, in the first round at least.
Or in the second round.
Yeah, really. Dude, Cleveland is going to want to smack Baltimore. Oh, my Lord.
Cleveland in the AFC Championship game.
Dude, AFC champion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But guess where that AFC Championship game would be?
In Buffalo.
In Buffalo. Is Joe Flacco going to, keep that run going? Who knows?
That scared the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I need somebody else to knock Joe Flacco out.
Yeah, get them boys out of here. Get them boys out of here. Please, Jacksonville, just clip them.
Do something, please. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for our show tonight. We're back. It's our first show, kind of, and getting back into the groove of things. We're going to have this playoff push here. Hopefully. Pray to God that everything goes our way this week. I think this Buffalo Bills team has a really, really strong chance, especially if, all the scenarios where they can miss the playoffs, let's say the Steelers and the Jaguars both win. That might not be beneficial to Miami because then you're playing a Buffalo Bills team that has everything at stake. And that's a scary team. If you got a Buffalo Bills team that knows that even if they lose, they go into the playoffs, they might be a little bit more lax, but they still want to beat your ass. So I think that maybe it's a little bit better for it's basically like, would you like me to beat you with both hands or do you want me to beat you with one hand? Like, yeah. So it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I'll take one hand and I'll take my chances on that fight. So that's what Miami would want. But I think Buffalo is, they're on a mission. They want to play in front of their home fans. They know too. I really wish the second seed still got a bye. I miss that. Like, we've been the second seed so many times
since
that
rule has been
since they changed it. And I'm like, if it was just a couple of years before that, man, that's crazy. But Justus, we've gone over scenarios. We've gone over the Bills and what they've done over, the time that we've missed. We've talked about them against the Dolphins. And now it's time to put our money up. What is the final score of this week's game against the Miami Dolphins?
Well, you know what, Jake? It's funny because the Bills haven't really been playing well. And it's been around the time since we stopped doing a show consistently.
Yeah.
It's also been around the time since I stopped playing Madden. And ladies and gentlemen, I bought Madden last week. And I've been stomping people out since. All right?
There you go.
Justus is back to stomping people in Madden. Justin and Jake are back to doing the show. The Bills are back to winning. Buffalo Bills 38, Dolphins 17.
I like that. I like that a lot. I was going to go with 35-17. So we're right there. We're in the same ballpark, dude. I think that the Buffalo Bills win their fourth consecutive AFC East trophy, and they're bringing home games to Buffalo in the postseason, and I can't wait. Is there a part of me, am I going to be mad if they lose to the Dolphins, but we still squeak into the playoffs? No, because I still think that this team could.
They make a run.
Yeah, they're still going to be able to make a run, even if they have to go on the road. They're a pretty good team on the road, actually. So they usually always have been. So,
and it's never fun when you're the home team and the best quarterback on the field doesn't play for you.
Exactly. That's plus you've got a fan base like Bills Mafia that travels really well. Hence, 52% of the fans at Hard Rock this Sunday are going to be Bills fans.
Crazy.
That's absolutely insane. But not all fan bases are like the Miami Dolphins and don't support their team. Okay, Justus, it has been amazing. I have enjoyed this show, so I will give the reins to you, and you can get us out of here.
Yeah. Hey guys, also let us know who you guys would want to see, sponsor us. And people you would like to see us promote, like brands and companies and stuff like that. Guys, the things that you support that you would like to see us support as well. Because you guys know we do this all for you. All of it, we appreciate every like, comment, subscription, retweet, repost, share, favorite, bookmark, say everything, man. Super chat,
all the metrics,
subscription. We appreciate all of it because we do it for you guys. So for Jake and Justus, we are the official network of the original Bills Mafia, and we are out.
Go Bills.